I get a little bit upset when I hear somebody complaining about being alone because they'll say some stuff like, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares about me. Nobody wants to be my friend. Yada yada yada. They make it seem like being alone is one of the worst things in the world, and I'm just like, man, being alone is one of the greatest things in the world. I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, no lie though, I used to make the same complaints. I used to say the same things, making it seem like being alone was the worst thing, because I felt like nobody was ever gonna love me or ever gonna show me any kind of attention. But I'm like, I don't live off attention. You know what I mean? You got people that wake up every day worrying about what people think of them. They crave off the attention. They gotta have people in their circle. They gotta have people as a friend. They feel like if they don't have nobody in their circle, that they're just gonna be alone, and they feel like their life is just gonna be terrible because they don't have nobody. And it's like, so what? So what? Your life isn't built off the satisfaction of other people. So why should it matter who's your friend or not, or who's in your circle? It shouldn't matter at all, because as long as you're healthy, as long as you're breathing, as long as your life is going on, that's all that should matter to you. Whether if anybody's there or not, that's irrelevant. That should always be irrelevant. When you're alone, you start observing things. You start observing just how people act. You start seeing just how they are. And when you start seeing all the craziness, all the stress that they give each other, and all the BS that they have, you start being more appreciative for being alone. Because you're like, man, you're watching from a distance, and you're just glad that all that stuff that's happening over here is not coming where you're at. Because you're in a safe distance. You're just spectating everything. And you're just like, man, I'm glad I'm over here, because I don't need all that stuff over here, or I don't even need to be over there, because when you're just sitting by yourself, you just start taking notes, and you're like, okay, that's how they're acting right there. I clearly don't want nobody in my circle acting that way, so I'm gonna make sure of that if somebody ever comes along. You know, you start setting your standards. You start making reparations for if somebody were to come in your life. And that's the thing, it's like, if somebody was to come in your life, you shouldn't force them to stay. You can't force them to stay. If at some point they want to leave, you can't force them to stay. Just off the fear of you being alone all over again. If they want to leave, then they have the right to leave. But it's like, you can't get upset all because they left. You shouldn't get upset, because it's not like your life is gonna end with them leaving you. Sometimes they might leave you for an unknown reason. Sometimes they might leave you for a stupid reason. Sometimes you might mess up and force them to leave. Or sometimes they just want to leave themselves. Maybe they want to be alone. They want to be alone too. Because we're always entitled to our own decisions. We're always entitled to our free will. We can make whatever choice we want, whether if it's good or bad, whether if it has good results or bad consequences. But we always carry the free will. That's something that we always have to respect. Everybody has it. You know? It's like, being alone is not as bad as people may think it is. Because you're at peace with yourself. You start understanding yourself a lot better when you're alone. You start realizing things that you probably would have never realized if you had so many people around you, because you'll be so distracted by what they think of you. You'll be so distracted with trying to appeal to them. But you're not going to appeal to everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. You can't make everybody like you. And just because they don't like you, it shouldn't hurt you. It shouldn't matter to you, because it's their opinion. It's their choice. They choose not to like you for whatever reason it is. Even if it's a stupid reason, or even if it's an unfair reason, They choose. They made the choice. And you can either be hurt by it, or you can accept it and just move on with it. You can just deal with it. Because not everybody is gonna like you. Sometimes you just gotta, once you accept that, then that's when you start understanding that whatever people think about you is just not, it shouldn't matter at all. It's not gonna matter. Because I'm still gonna live my life and I'm still gonna do me, regardless of how you feel and regardless of what you think of me. I'm not gonna stop you from living your life and thinking the way that you want to think. So what you say about me is not gonna stop me at all. Some people feel as though that they have power over people, feeling like their opinions on somebody is gonna dictate how they think. And that's if they allow it to. That's if they allow it to. If they allow somebody else's opinion to dictate over how they think and how they operate, because they're so upset or they want to appeal to them so badly to where they want to change themselves. That should not be the case with you. That should not be the case at all. You should only want to appeal to them if you choose to. But even then, if they can't accept who you are, then by all means, they don't need to be in your circle. They don't need to be around you. They don't need to. It should not matter at all. It should never matter. You might have to be alone for the rest of your life if people wouldn't accept who you are. But just because people wouldn't accept who you are, that doesn't mean that there won't be somebody that won't accept who you are. There's always going to be somebody in this world that's going to accept you, that's going to appreciate you, that's going to value you, that's going to care about you, that's actually going to show that they love you, and they're actually going to show that they want something with you. There's always going to be somebody in the world, but you have to be patient enough for it. If it's not coming now, that doesn't mean it's never going to come. It's going to come eventually. It's going to. If you have the patience, it's going to come. But if you the type that just want to rush things, just off the fear of being alone, then it's not going to be as good as you think. Sometimes what comes now might not be destined to stay throughout your life. Sometimes it might be a lesson. Sometimes it might be something that you learn from. You know, because they're not always going to stay. If they do stay, then maybe it was time. Maybe it was the right time. But if they don't, that doesn't mean that, because they're gone now, they're never going to come back, or I'm never going to find another that was like them. You got your whole life ahead of you. Everybody is going through life just as you are. So that doesn't mean that there ain't gonna be not a single soul out there that you ain't gonna connect with again. Because everybody is gonna be looking and searching. And somewhere along the lines, y'all gonna find each other.